Okay, so this is a quick video about what I did and did not like about The Edge of Fate. Um, the starting cutscene I liked. It did seem a bit reminiscent of when, uh, like launching from the tower was really cool. I liked that part, but when it got into space, um, seemed a bit too close to when you get into the Pale Heart. Um, but if Edge of Fate's your first DLC, then or expansion, then you probably wouldn't remember that unless you saw older content on a lore channel because that's how we do things nowadays. Uh, Content and lore isn't in the game. Someone else has to do the developers' jobs for them. Um, I I did like to set up the interesting thing about going into almost like a, a place beyond space and time, almost like concepts and ideas having their own life to them, like the going through the. I have to say, I liked the on that note. What I liked about that is the going through the trains. It's like a train of thought. It's interesting, like how some of the enemies as well in Destiny 2 are like concepts behind like death and rebirth and all sorts of stuff like that. Um, I did like the character, the guy with the glasses. Seems like he's written well. Um, a better departure from, I have to say, from Beyond Light, from Nimbus. Much better, much more likable. Um, Rather than not we have encountered this character before, I would say that this being my first time in this expansion interacting with him, uh, done very well. I would like to see more or hear more about the character. And if they kill him off, then maybe if possible expanded on his story. Maybe he'll come back. I'm not sure. I mean, heck, they brought Sabathine back, so um, anything's possible, really. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. He's a new character, so I think people would care less about him being brought back than they would about someone that has been in the story for years. Um, at this point, uh, let's see what else. What I didn't like, and I'm seeing what other people didn't like as well, which was the Matter Spark. The traversal section for the Matter Spark was fun. I didn't mind that. On controller, it was a bit tedious, like the jumping parts, but other than that, it was fine. The part I didn't like with the Matter Spark was the the interacting with certain enemy types and mechanics. So I'll get into the mechanics first. During the first part of the campaign in Edge of Fate, just a minute. uh, the first part of the campaign to Edge of Fate, you are taught that things in a bubble shield cannot be gotten to unless you interact with something or kill an enemy, and then that's broken. I think what was watch. I think Dado was talking about his interaction in a video, bringing some new people through the legendary campaign of Edge of Fate, where it's like seeing the enemy in a bubble, and it's like he brought up the same point. It's like you can't interact with everything in a bubble, and then they put this bad guy in a bubble, and you can just straight up walk through the bubble, right? And they break that rule on and off to a very annoying amount in Edge of Fate, where it's like, oh, we're gonna set up this arbitrary rule. We're gonna show you how this works, and then we're gonna break it, and then it's like, well, maybe that's the exception. No, that's not the exception. That's the tone that most of the campaign goes through. Actually, not only that, but like when you're relying on environment to tell a player how to do things, or you do have like the only interaction you have between another character telling you how this mechanic works in universe, and then you go ahead and you break it, then it's like, well, I can't trust what the characters are telling me about this mechanic I'm interacting with, because I know that they're just gonna that the people who wrote the story and made mechanics either didn't talk to each other, or it's like they just got so lazy or tired they're like, fuck it. Uh, I know we set up the mechanic this way and we taught you already, but that's wrong. Um, it's this way, and then we're gonna go back to it being that way. And the problem with that is there's nesting mechanics that require you to grasp fairly well all the other mechanics involved, because you get into rooms where it's like everything you've learned throughout the game, but throughout the expansion, is in that room. But then you're thinking like, well, what if this is the exception? What if this is the one time I can walk through a bubble shield and interact with something or an enemy? Or is this the one time that I have to do something and the shield will go away? The game isn't going to tell me. I have to look at context clues, I have to look at my environment. And the things they do take time explaining doesn't need to be explained, and the things that do need to be explained aren't explained. Like the fact that excuse me, like the fact that the matter ball health is different than player health, and that doesn't matter until you get to a respawn restricted zone, which means if you die, you have to restart that section. Um, which isn't too bad on normal, but I imagine people playing on legendary campaign is a pain in the ass. Depending on how good you are, right? You may be just a normal player who wants to level up quick and get an exotic. Like, okay, this is the campaign, I'll play legendary. And, it can't be too bad. It can't be any harder than any of the other legendary campaigns I might have watched videos of. Or it's someone's first campaign. Like, you know, I used to play Halo. I want to play like Halo Legendary, or I want to challenge myself. I think I'm pretty good at games. Or just someone wanting to try Legendary, wanting to challenge themselves. And it's like, not only are the mechanics contradicting themselves, that the things that directly involve the player are contradicting themselves. Or don't explain themselves. Like, so if I die as the Matter Spark, do I die as the character? It doesn't tell you that your health is separated. And matter of fact, you don't know that you have health as the Matter Spark until you interact with an enemy and they start hitting you. And instead of saying, hey, this is the Matter Spark, you're the Matter Spark, on top of your health bar, it has like this weird circle with a line through it. And I'm like, is it supposed to be Bife's job now to tell new players what the interface means, to explain what things do? Should that now be Bife's job as well? Like, just have him record director's cut commentary over it then. Every time a new mechanic shows up, have him explain things, because if you're going to make explaining content you remove that people pay for his job, then why not make UI choices his job explaining those as well? Why not just hire him? Right? Because what's the point of having a UI team if you need a lore master to explain it? And it's very arrogant and condescending, assuming that because people have prior knowledge of other games, that they will know that you're the Matter Spark and that's your health, and that the health is separated? Or as a matter of fact, I want an enemy to do damage to me as a Matter Spark, to hit me out of the Matter Spark, to then do damage to other enemies? Okay, when were you planning on explaining that? Like, just don't have words at this point. Just have everything obscure astrological symbols to seem deep and vague. It's a UI. The UI doesn't have to have anything to do with the story. The UI is to tell the person playing the game what they're interacting with. Because if people have to burn their brain out to learn the basic stuff like UI, just to figure out that the player health and the matter spark health are separated, then they're not going to want to put mental energy into the rest of the story. They've tuned out already. They're already having to put mental energy into thinking, is this mechanic explained the way I've learned it, or is it the same mechanic different? Can I walk through this shield but not another shield? That small rant aside, 10 minutes. I'm not going to stick around this long. I like the armor. So let's look at the armor real quick. Go into collection, right? So this is it's not too bad. Got a police theme, but the let's see, world armor for this expansion. That's what it looks like for Titan. And I would say, you know, it's nice seeing that Titan helmets get detail put into it. It's just not like a blob with horns or a weird twisty thing on top. That they actually got like, they got detail on the inside, they got a bit that's inlaid, and then they got the lights, which is really cool. And then let me just, yep, there you go. You can put an RGB lighting scheme on there and it lights up. So that's, you know, you got a rave attached to the face. That's really cool. They got little fin parts. Let's see what the rest of the armor looks like. It's sort of, you know, meh. Like it's got nipples on the back. Let's see the boots. Oh, look, you know, not bad. I don't mind it. It's not offensive. And it's actually they're it seems like they're sort of giving Titans the hunter treatment, where it's like more streamlined and more basic shapes, which I like. And then they use some detail, which looks a bit weird, but it doesn't look out of place. And the asymmetry is also nice as well. Let's look at the Titan mark. The towel. You know, it's big and flowing. I mean, yeah. Let's look at the gloves real quick. Huh. This bit looks weird. Like it could slip down. Like it could fall off your shoulder. Like maybe if they brought it in a bit, like right here, like over this and then up, almost like a teardrop or a fire, like the symbol for fire. Like it sort of makes sense, but you don't have any protective stuff here, so not really. I get they don't want it to clip with the model, but they got this bit right here that clips. So I would say that my favorite ones are the helmet and the boots. The chest piece, you know, the back nipples not so much, and the gauntlet's a bit weird. And then these are the Aeon depths. It's the same. Yeah, a little bit. I do like the worn look. And the back nipples aren't as offensive, weird looking. Got his ASMR microphone there. But besides that, it does look a bit low res, I'd have to say. Whereas like this looks a lot cleaner. And I don't know if it's the textures that they're putting on here. Almost like cell shading, like Borderlands, which doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad on the gloves, but it's like on the straight pieces it looks bad. I guess drawn on with pencil. Um, how's the helmet look? Helmet's not that bad. You can hide some of it, but it's like it's jagged. Like it's yeah. I don't know any other way of putting it. Really, like looking at another model, looking at the older helmets, like it's not as noticeable. Maybe because there's more panel lines. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe the panel lines, more panel lines there are, the easier it is to notice how the age of something. Or maybe they upres the models. I think they might have changed the quality of some of these armor pieces recently. Um, but that's a bit sad. The white armor looks good. Um, all right, so I'm going to end the video here. This will be called "What I Do and Do Not," what I do and don't like um, about the Edge of Fate. Maybe I'll call it something different. Um, anyway, thanks for watching and have a good day.